Okay, it's a little bit later. It's 11:39, so I got to publish that video and make some more tea. This is, what kind of tea did I make? Breathe Easy, I think it's called, and I've been having such a grand old time by myself. I thought, what a pity if I don't share my grand old time with you. And hopefully I will not freak out because of the camera, because I still have a little bit of shyness when it comes to the camera. I used to be terrified of cameras. Truly, I would be paralyzed in front of them, and I've made a number of videos throughout this year, and I'm hypnotizing you. You will participate in salvation. You will be in heaven forever. We can have a little fun, can't we? Yeah, sure we can. That's what salvation is really about. It's really about having fun. It's really about being like a little kid, right? Didn't somebody say that like 2,000 years ago? Like, what are the people like in heaven, or the souls like in heaven? Like little children, truly. Yes, but we got to get some things clear here. These little children that we see are mostly just programmed little shits, and they're not so great as they are right now. But once we get them the right kind of nurturing, once we get them the right kind of upbringing, wow, you're going to see like 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. The intelligence you're going to see in these little kids is going to blow you away. All of your preconceived notions of education are going to go out the window when you see these little kids that are so precocious, and they're so bright and intelligent and happy and giving of themselves. They'll make you comfortable, and they'll loosen up your crap so you'll be able to let loose and enjoy life with them a little bit. So, okay. Woo, 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 woo. Let a little of that go. You can let a little of that go too. But I've had such strong communication lately that I don't want to not make videos, because I think communication is too important. And there's a lot of damn anxiety too. But what I'm seeing these days is that this energy that is coursing through my body so fast right now, it is so close to either pole that it can flip and go either way, and it can go either way in a second. From really extreme anxiety, maybe depression. Depression is kind of going away more and more these days, though. It's not, but anxiety, holy fuck. Getting overwhelmed with what I have to do. But it can flip very, very quickly into like happiness and bliss very quickly. So this energy that we're dealing with here, it will eat us alive if it's not channeled appropriately. And that's why we have to take this at a pace that everybody can go. If it happens too fast, then it will make you go crazy. And we have plenty of people throughout history that have gone crazy. And quite frankly, if humanity was a little bit more awake, they would have listened to some of these people. Whatever story they were telling about reality might have been ultimately not true. But what we got to realize about stories, I'm glad I stumbled upon this topic because it is a very important one, is that you like my curls, by the way? I used a new shampoo the other day, Mineral Fusion. I used to hate having curly hair as a kid because I couldn't comb it. But now I get curly hair some days, I get straight hair some other days, so it's fun. My hair always looks different. So, not a bad thing. And that's the one thing about a soul is always different. A soul is always a pure expression. And, so why wouldn't the hair reflect my personality? Because the hair gives you so much personality. I see so many people out there who put so much work into the damn hair. And I see through that, like women who are like so dolled up, it's like, wow, how long does it take you to do that? Holy shit. Because I can see your natural repose upon awakening. And I can see that you look nothing like that when you wake up. Nothing like that. And who you are first thing in the morning, how good you look when you first get out of bed, that says a lot about you. And what your natural repose is says a lot about you too. I see some of you, you're in this like stupor, you're thinking, oh, I should have killed that guy. You got these deep lines right here. The face says a lot. The faces don't lie. Bodies don't lie. And I see you're in this pissed off repose. And I say, hey, how's it going? Oh, I'm good. You weren't good just a second ago. But sometimes that's the way it works. Once you show someone a little bit of humanity, all of a sudden they're better. So ain't that cool? Oh, God, are we going to... Okay, I was going to talk about something. I said I was glad I stumbled upon a topic. Help me. Come on. Oh, stories. Yeah. So we're going to talk about stories. And how the stories we tell are very important. Because I certainly don't say give up stories. I don't say give up stories about reality. Because we use stories to frame our behavior, our action, our thinking. So stories are very important. What stories we decide to tell are very important. I saw a video yesterday, I'm not quite done with it, about these ancient forests on Earth and how like Devil's Tower is really the base of a tree that went up miles. And this is something that we all of us true kids at heart imagine is these beautiful enchanted forests. And where the hell are these enchanted forests? And I've been in the redwoods in California. I was there in February one time. A great month to be there. You know why? Because all of the foliage from the small plants is pretty much gone. And so all you have is redwoods and you have ferns. So you have like this carpet. And it's like these pillars. It's like you're in this natural cathedral. It's amazing. But we all dream of these enchanted forests, don't we? These cute little villages, you know, those little train sets. Sometimes you see like a train set and it's got these little villages and like, oh, I'd love to live there, right? Yeah, come on, not just me. Everybody looks, I want to live inside that train set. And that's how life can be. That's how life can be pretty soon if we decide it to be so. Then we can transform this place very, very quickly if we have the will to do so. And I think we have the will to do so now. Because I see a hopefulness. Spring, the equinox, is usually a time of better hope. It's a time that we can actually get into action better than any other time of year. So we're still kind of in this window here of hope. So I want to take advantage of this window of hope. But I also see another thing, and two very necessary things to be a good participant in salvation is you have to not only have hope with the future that we can create, but you also have to have a certain sense of hopelessness with the world as it currently is. And people will tell you you're depressed, they tell you all kinds of shit for feeling the way you do. You are not a naturally depressed person, okay? Don't let anybody tell you that you have a natural tendency to be depressed. You don't. You're dissatisfied with this place, and rightly so. You should be dissatisfied with this place because it doesn't suit life. This place allows life to survive, but it does not allow life to thrive. Glad I got that one right. Some of these I kind of like practice in my head a little bit. Honestly, I do. I practice some of this stuff. I had another one that I was practicing this morning, which I actually nailed in the course of natural communication earlier. I said, whoa, I did that perfectly. And I was like, I better practice that one so it's ready when the time comes. Because, you know, everything in life that we think is unprepared and spontaneous, usually there's a lot of preparation behind it. And I've had to go through a very, very long period of preparation to be where I am now. Most of the time, you know, if we kind of think of it like mountains, you know, you're going into a valley, and maybe it's like this. It's like, you know, the top gets higher, but the bottom gets lower. The frequency level gets higher and higher, like what I was saying earlier, right? About, you know, the poles between ecstasy and complete overwhelm, you know, and how fast it can go. You know, maybe if we draw the graph, it's like this. It gets faster and higher. So more amplitude, shorter wavelength, right? So stories are very important for us, and they're not something that we can give up, because that's why we frame reality. So whether or not something happens to be true, and you have no verification for it, it still has a usefulness to you. So it's possible that your ideas of aliens and spaceships might be actually kind of useful to you right now. So I'm not going to tell you to give up your story, because it might be doing something that's slightly beneficial for us. But what we're going to find, though, is that the actual story of salvation is the best story. I think I said that in the last video. Maybe I didn't. Is that salvation is going to be the best story that we could possibly imagine. But it's still a story, because all of this is occurring outside of the perfection of heaven. So it must be made up. So we use stories to our advantage. And as we imagine the future we want, and as we see the future we want, not only are we going to move into that future, but we're going to be able to reinterpret the past in a much more enlightened way as well. So you'll be able to see certain things that occurred and be able to fit them into the right context. And you're going to be able to choose a lot of the context, by the way, for your life. It's going to be like the happiest thoughts you could think about your past are actually going to be the ones that are going to wind up being true about your past, because you get to decide. But it's not just you that it's deciding, it's reality concurring with your decision. How cool is that going to be, right? To actually look at your past and say, this was all a beautiful story. It ended up being a beautiful story, but you can only have a beautiful chapters in the book if the ending is a happy ending. So we got to make the ending happy.